Okay. Yes, go ahead. What's your doubt?
Yeah, sir, can you open that once?
Uh, okay. Functions.
Functions in NumPy, I think.
Yeah.
So, sir, you took an example of that factorial one.
Yes.
So, sir, I was thinking that when we are calling it again and again from one function to another, so where is the previous function's value getting stored?
That's internal to Python. See, how it works is there is one function whose completion is dependent on the completion of another function.
हाँ, जैसे आप 5 फैक्टोरियल का एग्जांपल लिया, 5 इंटू n-1 फैक्टोरियल किया आपने, तो जब वो n-1 कॉल करेगा तो मतलब अभी 4 फैक्टोरियल हो गया. So
Yes.
why is 5 not getting updated with 4? Where is 5 landing? Where is 5 staying?
So there is a nested function call. One function is calling another function. One function is calling another function. जब तक लास्ट वाले फंक्शन का रिटर्न पिछले वाले फंक्शन में नहीं आ जाता है, देखो क्या हो रहा है, हम कभी भी रिटर्न नहीं कर रहे हैं. फंक्शन के पास कंट्रोल है, आपने उस फंक्शन के थ्रू एक और फंक्शन कॉल कर दिया, रिटर्न नहीं किया. जब तक ये नीचे वाला फंक्शन रिटर्न नहीं करता है पावर प्रीवियस वाले फंक्शन को जिसने इसको कॉल किया है, तब तक थिंग्स विल वर्क. नेस्टेड फंक्शन है ना. देखो, ये गेट फैक्टोरियल एक दूसरा फंक्शन है, इसका आईडी दूसरा होगा, इसका आईडी दूसरा होगा, इसका आईडी दूसरा होगा, इसका आईडी दूसरा होगा, इसका आईडी दूसरा होगा. जब तक ये फंक्शन रिटर्न नहीं करता है कोई वैल्यू, तब तक ये फंक्शन वेट कर रहा है. फिर ये फंक्शन को जब वैल्यू मिलेगी वो कैलकुलेट करेगा और फिर रिटर्न करेगा, तब तक ये फंक्शन वेट कर रहा है.
तो तब तक ये 5*4 कहाँ रह रहा है? अंदर
मेमोरी में.
वही.
मेमोरी में.
ओके, बिकॉज आपने इफ यू
मेमोरी
कुड गो
एड्रेस
अप.
बहुत बड़ा है, राइट. यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन है, यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन है, यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन है. एवरी फंक्शन इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट, इट इज वेटिंग फॉर द अदर. आप वो समझने जाओगे तो फिर तो आप कोई भी न्यूमेरिकल एक्सप्रेशन देखोगे, a प्लस बी माइनस सी डिवाइडेड बाई डी प्लस, ये तो आप बोलोगे प्रांजल जब मल्टीप्लीकेशन हो रहा है तब बाकी सब कहाँ है. इट्स जस्ट लाइक दैट.
अच्छा.
आप यहां से इसको कॉल कर रहे हो, फिर यहां से इसको कॉल कर रहे हो, फिर यहां से इसको कॉल कर रहे हो, फिर यहां से इसको कॉल कर रहे हो. जब ये रिजल्ट देगा तो यहां से वापस इधर कॉल हो रहा है, फिर वापस यहां से इधर रिटर्न हो रहा है, फिर यहां से यहां रिटर्न हो रहा है, फिर यहां से यहां रिटर्न हो रहा है. दैट्स द प्रोसेस.
Okay. Okay. I only got confused because we have written this in the return line. That is the reason.
हाँ, तो देखो, रिटर्न जब कॉल हो रहा है, ठीक है, तो रिटर्न में पावर रिटर्न नहीं हो रही है, क्योंकि एक देखो, रिमेम्बर क्या होता है हमेशा ना, पहले आरएचएस कैलकुलेट होता है, फिर एलएचएस की तरफ जाते हैं ना हम लोग.
Okay.
तो ये आरएचएस है पहले, ये जब तक फाइनली ये कैलकुलेट नहीं होगा, ये फंक्शन का कोई मतलब नहीं है.
अच्छा. Okay.
ठीक है.
Got it. Yeah. And related to that NumPy thing, which you asked us to just read about it.
हाँ.
So I had a few doubts in that कि ये array क्या होता है, and
Okay.
आपने लिखा है difference means it's faster, that's what you wrote it, but how else is it different from list? And in one of the methods you have written that the meaning of plus minus is different in NumPy.
Yes.
And when you did that, I could not understand the output, how it came.
ओके, एक सेकेंड. ठीक है, आप ये बताओ कहाँ पे वो प्लस माइनस आपने देखा, वो इजी है
हाँ.
समझ, पहले वो करते हैं.
हाँ हाँ, यही वाला साइड इफेक्ट. या.
राइट.
यस.
अभी देखो, नंपाई एडिशन इज एरे एडिशन. ठीक है, ये कॉन्कैटिनेट नहीं कर रहा है. सो रिमेंबर, हम लोग जब लिस्ट में 1 2 3 प्लस 4 5 6 करते थे तो ये कॉन्कैटिनेट कर देता था, राइट. नंपाई में कॉन्कैटिनेट करने के लिए ऐसे है कॉन्कैट. ठीक है, बट अगर आप नंपाई एरे एडिशन करोगे तो ये एक्चुअली न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू एडिशन कर रहा है, राइट. तो रिमेंबर, आपको याद होगा हमने बात की थी बुलियन डेटा टाइप में ट्रू इज रिप्रेजेंटेड एज 1 एंड फॉल्स इज रिप्रेजेंटेड एज 0. So NumPy is managing the conversion of 3 plus true, where it is treating true as 1. So 3 plus 1 becomes 4. Okay, 1 plus 4 becomes 5. 2 plus false is basically 0. 2 plus 0 becomes 2. Clear है?
Yes.
ठीक है, तो numpy का concatenation अलग से होता है. लिस्ट का by default addition is concatenation. numpy का by default addition is true addition, element wise
Okay.
addition. अगर आप यहाँ पे एलिमेंट चेंज कर दोगे तो ये एरर दे देगा. ऑपरेंड्स कुड नॉट बी ब्रॉडकास्टेड टुगेदर बिकॉज द शेप्स वर डिफरेंट. एक का शेप 3 है, दूसरे का शेप 4 है.
अच्छा, अगर हम मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हो देन आल्सो इट्स द सेम थिंग.
मल्टीप्लाई अगर आप करते हो तो आप देखो 340.
3 into 1 is 3.
1
So
into 4 is 4. 2 into false 0 is 0.
अच्छा, it will not, like each element will not get multiplied to each element of the other.
के लिए numpy डॉट मल्टीप्लाई अलग है.
Oh,
के लिए
okay.
आप जो बोल रहे हो ना वो मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन है, तो उसके लिए मैट मल करके एक फंक्शन होता है.
Okay.
That's why you have more freedom in numpy of doing what you want to do with arrays and matrices, and these are very fast compared to other languages, compared to other data types like a list.
So basically what I understood is NumPy is very much easier to deal with arithmetic and statistics
Yes.
Related to lists and arrays.
Yes.
Okay. And could you just give me 1 minute of array and list, sir? If you could explain. If you could explain for 1 minute what is the difference between array and list.
For 1 minute? मतलब मैं 1 मिनट से कम नहीं कर सकता.
Yes, it's sorry.
So देखिए एरे बेसिकली क्या होता है ना. अब देखो आप जब एरे क्रिएट करोगे ना, उस एरे का कोर फंक्शनैलिटी में सपोज np डॉट अरे, ठीक है, 1 कॉमा abc कॉमा 2. व्हेन यू डू दिस, ये जो एरे आपने क्रिएट किया, आप देखो इसका डेटा टाइप u21 है, राइट. तो ये डेटा टाइप बहुत डिफरेंस मतलब क्रिएट कर देता है, बिकॉज इंटरनली देखो अब यहाँ पे डेटा टाइप नहीं दे रहा है. So Python and NumPy are internally handling all possibilities of data types that you are having inside. उसके वजह से when you do the multiplication, addition, subtraction, it knows the data types in individual matrix cells and it does the calculation. जैसे जब आप मान लो आपके पास एक nested array है, right? जैसे 2-dimensional array कैसा दिखता है? It will look something like this. ठीक है, ये एक 2-dimensional array है, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. अब ये अगर एक np डॉट एरे बन जाता है, राइट, तो ये एक ऐसे एरे रिप्रेजेंट हो गया, राइट. नाउ दिस एरे कैन बी एक्चुअली मल्टीप्लाइड विथ अनदर एरे, एंड वो जो मल्टीप्लिकेशन होगा, राइट, फॉर एग्जांपल लेट मी ट्राई दिस मल्टीप्लाइड बाय np डॉट एरे. numpy actually does a lot of shape checking also. अभी आप ये देखो, ये जो 1 2 3 है जो मल्टीप्लिकेशन है, राइट, विथ योर ओरिजिनल 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, उसको जब मैंने मल्टीप्लाई किया, राइट, तो ये वैल्यू आया. अब आप सोचो अगर आप ये लिस्ट को मल्टीप्लाई करने जाते 1 2 3 से, राइट, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ता? फॉर आई इन पूरा आपको लूप लिखना पड़ता. उसके बाद फॉर जे इन आपको ये 1 2 3 वाला लूप लिखना पड़ता. देन 1 बाय 1 आपको एलिमेंट्स मल्टीप्लाई करने पड़ते, राइट. बट एरे का जो क्रिएशन है numpy का, दैट इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड वेरी क्लोजली मैप इनटू द मैथमेटिक्स ऑफ मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन. तो इट ऑलरेडी नोज कि आपको यहाँ पे कौन सा मल्टीप्लिकेशन करना है, राइट. सो आई मीन इन दैट सेंस इट इज सुपर फास्ट. प्लस numpy का जो बेस है, राइट, numpy का बेस इज इन सी लैंग्वेज, and C language is super fast because it directly communicates with the microprocessor of the computer. But जो आपका list है, that is a Python database, Python data type. तो वो list Python में बनेगा, फिर Python उसको C compiler में convert करेगा, फिर microprocessor में transfer होगा. But NumPy का ये direct है, NumPy to C, C to microprocessor. So it's actually very very fast for any large matrix multiplications. तो क्योंकि ये लूप के बेसिस पे काम नहीं करता, it does not work like a loop internally multiplying 1 by 1. It actually multiplies 1 4 7 together with 1. I mean 1 2 3 together with 1 2 3. Then 4 5 6 together with 1 2 3. Then 7 8 9 together with 1 2 3. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Pranavi, are you clear?
Yes, sir. And where could be the use case of this NumPy, like in industry?
Everywhere.
अच्छा.
आपको न्यूरल नेटवर्क का मॉडल बनाना है, आपको डिसीजन ट्री बनाना है, रैंडम फॉरेस्ट मॉडल बनाना है, तो अंदर में इतने मैथमेटिकल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहे हैं, कैलकुलेशन हो रही है, मॉडल्स डिफाइन हो रहे हैं, पैरामीटर्स बन रहे हैं, अपडेट हो रहे हैं पैरामीटर्स, दे आर ऑल इंटरनली numpy फोकस्ड, सब numpy में बना है। आपके
Okay.
पास मान लीजिए 1000 डेटा पॉइंट्स हैं, 1000 डेटा पॉइंट्स पे आपको एक मॉडल ट्रेन करना है, तो वो अंदर में numpy यूज होगा फॉर दैट 1000 डेटा पॉइंट्स विल बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू अ मैट्रिक्स एंड देन दे विल बी डूइंग ऑल द कैलकुलेशंस।
Okay.
ठीक है। यस अभिषेक, प्लीज गो अहेड विद योर क्वेश्चन।
प्रांजल, मैं ये पूछ रहा था कि जैसे हमने ये स्टेटमेंट्स पढ़ी थी अभी और लूप पढ़े हैं, उसके बाद फिर हम व्हाई डू वी नीड दिस लाइब्रेरी नमपाई एंड pandas, फिर उसका डेटा एनालिसिस में जब हम काम करेंगे, एक्चुअल जो काम होता है पाइथन पे, तो
हाँ।
उसका लूप्स का और इफ स्टेटमेंट्स का क्या रेलिवेंस है? अगर हम नमपाई और pandas भी पढ़ लेते हैं, तो क्या हमें इस पे फोकस ज्यादा करना है या उस पे भी फोकस करना है?
देखो, जो आपने फंडामेंटल सीख लिया दे आर गुड इनफ, बट नाउ अगर आप पांडास की बात करते हो ना, तो पांडास में भी सेम प्रॉब्लम है जैसा एक एक्सेल जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर में प्रॉब्लम है। पांडास एक लाइब्रेरी है जो किसी और ने लिखी है।
ठीक है।
दुनिया के सारे यूज केसेस वो बंदा कवर नहीं कर सकता है, बिकॉज कुछ तो आपका ऐसा यूज केस आएगा जो सिर्फ आपके लिए ही है, राइट? तो दैट पर्सन हैज नॉट क्रिएटेड ऑल द पॉसिबल मेथड्स इन द वर्ल्ड, राइट? देन व्हेन यू नीड कस्टमाइजेशन यू विल नीड कोर पाइथन एबिलिटीज।
ओके।
ठीक है, तो वहां पे आपको फंडामेंटल्स चाहिएगा, बिकॉज पांडास इज अगेन लाइक अ सॉफ्टवेयर। someone has built python, someone has built pandas considering the most potential use cases possible, but they've not covered the entire universe of data analysis.
जस्ट लाइक numpy और panda जस्ट लाइक पाइथन के मैक्रोज है ना?
In a way, yes,
है
python
ना?
का
हाँ।
code को compile करके they've made something which is a little more polished and directly applicable. मतलब अगर एक function pandas का आप यूज कर रहे हो सिंगल लाइन स्टेटमेंट में, internally that might be accessing like 500 python functions individually. Okay, so they've simplified your life in that way.
वो अपने एसओपीज और अपनी फास्ट काम करने के लिए इन्होंने ये लाइब्रेरीज
Yes,
बनाई है।
exactly, exactly. वैसे ही होता है। I mean, अभी अगर आपको एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल डेटा का एनालिसिस करना है, तो आप स्क्रैच से पाइथन से बनाओगे तो हालत खराब हो जाएगी, बट देयर इज समवन जिसने एक बार स्क्रैच से बनाया, सारे फंक्शंस को एग्रीगेट किया, 10 लोगों की मदद ली, दे पुट इट आउट इनटू द वर्ल्ड, थिंग्स हैव बीन इंप्रूविंग सिंस देन। तो अब एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल डेटा एनालिसिस का एक पर्टिकुलर लाइब्रेरी बन गया है। दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंस, राइट? आई मीन, अगर आप ऐसे सोचो कि लाइक लेट्स से यू आर बाइंग एन अपार्टमेंट, right? So there are people who are going to individually just do bathroom work or just do kitchen work or just do flooring work, right? There are some people who do electricity work, some people who do furniture, some people who do, other jobs. But then you want to hire the person who is going to do your interior designing, right? So your life is simpler rather than individually dealing with each and every aspect.
Right.
And problem क्या है? Like that's what integration comes for. जैसे अब मैं numpy यूज कर रहा हूँ, तो numpy के अंदर बहुत सारे ऑप्टिमाइजिंग ऑपरेशंस ऑलरेडी चल रहे हैं। अभी if I separately hire an electrician, separately hire a furniture guy, separately hire someone who's done construction work, right? तो उनके बीच का जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, फ्रिक्शन है, रेजिस्टेंस है, कि पहले मैं ये करूंगा फिर तू ये कर, फिर मैं ये करूंगा फिर तू वो कर, तो there is always going to be a resistance. But if there is one interior guy handling all of those things, so I don't have to deal with it, he will deal with it, right? So over time these interior designers have the experience and understanding of how to optimally manage all these individual functions. So that is what pandas and other libraries are really helpful for.
Okay.
They do all kinds of database checks, type checks, error checks, inform you. They can very clearly identify the typical error that's occurring. So wo sab mein, I mean, they are super nice. ठीक है, anything else? Anyone?
हाँ सर, सॉल्यूशंस अपलोड कर दीजिएगा।
यार सॉल्यूशंस भी मेरा काम, मतलब आई डोंट हैव द सॉल्यूशंस और द असाइनमेंट्स, ये राकिब को ही बोलना पड़ेगा।
एक्चुअली सर वो बफर टाइम का मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, क्योंकि एक्चुअली जब आप असाइनमेंट देते हैं उसके नेक्स्ट वीक में जब हम बोलते हैं तो अदर मॉड्यूल्स में भी सॉल्यूशंस आ जाते हैं, तो हमारा काम इजी हो जाता है कि हम उसमें टाइम कम करके और टाइम निकाल के उसको देख के हम अपने खुद डाउट कई बार सॉल्व कर लेते हैं, तो वो क्लास में डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं होती है।
आई मीन देखो अभिषेक, इट्स एक्चुअली नॉट इन माय हैंड, क्योंकि असाइनमेंट्स भी बार बार नए बनते हैं। मेरा काम है कि अगर आपको सोल्यूशन नहीं समझ में आया तो फिर मैं हूँ, ठीक है? अदरवाइज इसके लिए आपको राकिब को ही बोलना पड़ेगा। आई डोंट हैव द एबिलिटी टू डू इट। मेरे पास वो पूरा कंटेंट ही नहीं है कि मैं अपलोड कर पाऊँ। मैं बस राकिब को बोल सकता हूँ, बट राकिब हैज, आई मीन दिस इज लाइक आईवी ने ऐसा डिफाइन किया है इन अ वे कि अगर इस वीक मतलब हमने क्वेश्चन डाला है तो जिन लोगों ने अपलोड कर दिया है सोल्यूशन उन लोग को मिल जाएगा, ठीक है। जिन लोगों ने सॉल्व नहीं किया है एंड वो वेट कर रहे हैं सोल्यूशन आने का, तो उनको वेट करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज आई मीन क्योंकि इसके ऊपर मार्किंग होती है ना आपकी, तो अगर आपको सोल्यूशन पहले मिल जाएगा तो फिर वो गलत हो जाएगा बाकी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए। तो एनीवे आई थिंक यू शुड कॉन्टैक्ट राकेब और टॉक टू हिम पर्सनली वंस एंड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। अगर फिर भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम होती है तो मेरे को बताइए।
ठीक है सर।
ओके, कूल। pandas के ऊपर आ जाते हैं। So this is our first session on pandas. It's a very very important library. This is where most of your work is going to be happening. Okay. To be honest, अगर मैं आपको अपना daily का काम दिखाऊंगा, if I just show you what I work on a daily basis, right? This is actually my company account, everything, right? तो इसमें everything that you will see, all the notebooks, you can see data cleaning, data analysis, data summary, EDA, all the different clients that I am dealing with. Every notebook, first statement is 99% import pandas as PD. It is that useful and that daily application का requirement. तो pandas तो आपको बहुत अच्छे से समझना हो. Without pandas, if you say that you know data side का things in Python, nobody will believe you, because you'll understand how important pandas is when we start discussing about it. Okay. Like we said, pandas is a library. Okay. So whenever we start, we do import pandas as PD, right? Everyone type this in one of your cells in the notebook and execute this and tell me if this is running successfully or not.
Yes sir, done.
ठीक है. So what are we doing here? There is a ready-made code to solve a lot of problems in my system. I am bringing that ready-made code and making it accessible inside this particular specific notebook. ये सबको clear है? Pandas library is already existing in my computer, but until and unless I import it to this particular notebook that I'm working with, I will not be able to access its functionalities, which is why I am importing pandas. Alias दिया है PD just so that हर जगह pandas dot method नहीं लिखना पड़े. I can just do PD dot method. ठीक है, तो वो short form है, nothing else. Okay. Now everyone try import imb learn as imb. Everyone try this out on your system.
Error.
क्या error आ रहा है?
No module named IML.
Yes. So this is what where Python is trying to tell you that this library that you are trying to import into this notebook does not exist right now in your system. It is telling you that this library does not exist in your system. So what do we have to do? We have to install the library. How do we install the library? Percentage pip install and name of library. Everyone execute this statement on your system. Percentage pip is Python package manager, install, and then imb learn. Okay, imb learn is the library that we tried to import but was not getting imported. Done, everyone? Does that work? Install हो गया library? Once this library has been installed, rerun this statement. Import IMB learn as IMB. Does it now run without error?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So this is basically how you install any new library that you hear about. Okay? Now, whenever you are working with any library, sometimes you will see that this code about pandas is working in your notebook, but in someone else's notebook, the same code does not work. Whenever that happens, always understand that pandas has different versions. I mean, when it started out, pandas was a very basic library. It was not very well polished, designed. Not all features were covered. Then, a lot of contributors together started improvising the pandas library one by one, a lot of changes took place. And eventually, today, the latest version of pandas has a lot more than the initial version. In the next version, there might be some changes, some new features might be added, some old features might be removed. Okay. Some new code might be added, some old code would be removed. So the only situation where pandas ka koi code works for you and the same code does not work for someone else is where the version is not matching. When that happens, make sure that you check your version and the other person's version as well. Okay. Everyone, how do we check version? PD dot double underscore version double underscore. Okay, and that gives you the version of pandas. You guys can actually run this code on your system and see if your version and my version matches or not. Okay. Someone had a question, please go ahead if you have one.
Yeah, sir. If my version is an older version, how do I upgrade it?
So pip install update, I think minus update. One second. Minus update tha. Pip install update IMD learn. Yes. So if you want to update, then this is how you update. Okay. To the latest version.
Yes, sir. Can you copy paste that version one also?
Copy paste that version one means?
Matlab, how do I find the version that third cell niche? Sorry. Huh.
Okay. Clear hai, everyone? Guys online, can we proceed? Sabko clear hai yahan tak? If you guys need 2 minutes, no problem. You can check out the version and do all the things that you want to play around with. Let me know when we can start. Okay, Shuramita is done. Everyone done? Okay, awesome. So now there's a lot of content written down here that you guys can read later. I mean, largely everything will make sense. Nothing is very different. What I want to start with is the fundamental understanding of how pandas really works and what data types are introduced for you to work with data, right? So in most cases, data, I mean, in specifically tabular data, can always be used in the form of rows and columns. There will be multiple rows, multiple columns, right? In pandas, there is a data type called data frame. This data frame is a two-dimensional data structure, which is aligned in a tabular fashion in rows and columns. Okay. You can add more rows, you can add more columns, you can change data in cells. It's completely mutable. You can change whatever you want. You can rename columns, you can rename indexes, which is rows, you can perform operations, etc., etc. Okay. You can fetch this data frame. I mean, you can convert SQL database queries into pandas data frames. You can convert lists, dictionaries, series, NumPy arrays, everything into data frames. Okay. To create a data frame, you can use any data type. Okay. Most of the data types are acceptable. Okay. Now, what we will do is we will first go ahead, download from an online source a CSV file, and then we are going to put that in the system and upload it. Okay, and bring it to our notebook. So everyone, go to this link that I have shared in the chat. If need be, register on kaggle.com with your Gmail account if you're not already registered, and download the listings.csv file. Everyone, download the listings.csv file. Once you guys have downloaded, let me know. I'll ask anyone to share their screen, volunteer, and put the data in the right location so that we can read the file. Okay. So guys, let me know once done, once you've downloaded the listings.csv.
Yes, I downloaded.
Okay. Are you ready to share your screen?
Yes, no issues.
Yeah, go ahead. Share your screen and I'll show you how we can load that data frame inside in your notebook. Okay. So we can view the data frame. Yes. So first of all, go to your downloads folder. Abhishek, just go to your downloads folder. No, you can upload from here, but let's not do that. I want to show a different idea first.
Okay.
No, that's not a CSV file. You've actually uploaded a zip file.
Actually, I copied to my drive I made for Python.
I did not understand.
This
You
is
just downloaded the listings.csv file, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, all of you have to understand, just, focus here for a minute. The listings.csv file, wherever it is in your computer, in your downloads, in your documents, in your desktop, you have to make it available to your notebook, the notebook in which you are right now working. You have to make this file available for your notebook. So you have to place this particular file in the same folder, in the same location where your notebook is placed. Okay. Does everyone understand that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Abhishek, if you've already copy pasted, then you can cancel this out. You've already done the copy pasting. Right? Now here, try to load this file. Load this CSV file in the notebook. In the code, go and write, where is the listings.csv file here? Yeah, it is there, right? A minute ago. Everyone can see the listings.csv file. Guys online? Can you all
Yes.
see the listings dot Abhishek, don't mute, yeah. You can all see this listings.csv file, right? It's a zip file, Abhishek.
Yeah, it's different.
You will have to unzip it and place it. That's why you'll not be able to see it directly here. Go outside the node lab. Okay. Go outside the lab first. Yeah. So listings.csv, everyone can see. Now, Abhishek, start writing here. DF. DF is short form for data frame, guys. DF is equal to PD dot. PD is the pandas library. Dot means I'm going to add a method. That method is read underscore CSV. CSV. Yeah. Now in parenthesis, in quotes, write the name of the file that we want to access. In parenthesis. First put brackets. Yeah. In quotes, write listings.csv, which is the name of the file. You have to give the exact name, listings.csv. Right. Now run it. And in the next cell, write df.head. Add the parenthesis. Because this is a method, you will have to add parenthesis. You are trying to call the function, the method. Yeah, that's it. df.head. Open close parenthesis and run this cell. Right? So this is the representation of a data frame in your Jupyter notebook. Okay. So everyone follow the steps that Abhishek followed and let me know if any one of you is stuck. Okay. We can I can ask you to share your screen and we can help everyone get on the same page.
Sir,
Yes.
if the file is in any other folder, then I must give the path
Yes.
also, right?
Yes.
Sir, how do we do that?
So how do you know the path of where the file is?
So
Suppose
where...
it is somewhere, it is in any particular location. Okay, let's say I go here. Right, this is the file. So I'll just go right click, copy path.
Okay.
And this copy path can actually be added here like this. Okay. And then I can actually load no such file or directory. I think this is way back. Okay, XLSX file not supported. Engine is equal to. This is a different problem that I am solving right now, but the file problem is separate. So if the file is somewhere else, I can actually get the file like this. Okay, so I mean, you have to basically send the path. If you don't send the path, it's not going to work out.
And if it just send the path in the double quotes, it will automatically pick the Excel file, because if suppose in the folder there are two files, दो फाइल है, एक CSV एक Excel है, तो वो automatically read कर ले.
ये दिया ना आपने.
अच्छा,
आपने एक्सटेंशन भी दिया ना.
हाँ, और अगर दो CSV फाइल प्रेजेंट है तो अगेन आप
सेम नाम की थोड़ी होगी दो CSV.
तो यहाँ पे नाम कहाँ स्पेसिफाई किया है हमने? अच्छा, ओके ओके, गॉट इट.
Everyone clear? Was everyone able to load this file and look at the df.head? Yes or no?
Sir, I'm getting a file not found error.
Okay. Have you put, do you see, just remember this, very important, okay? Do you see listings.csv and the notebook that you are in the same location like this in my case?
No. It is in different folder.
Yeah, so where is your notebook? In that particular place, you will have to copy and paste this file.
Okay.
Okay. Do that. I want everyone to come here first, only then we can start with the rest of the discussion. Okay. How many of you have already got the df.head? Just put a yes or no on the chat. How many of you have already done it? Riddhi, you're getting file not found. Just get it done. Let's see. Everyone was able to get df.head. Okay. So Riddhi, we are waiting for you. Then we'll continue.
Yes, sir, working.
It's working now. Great. So guys, what we have just done is we have gotten a file, a CSV file or an Excel file or any other kind of file. And we have used Pandas method to convert that file into a data frame that we can access inside our notebook. Okay. This is what we have done in these two steps. This is the first step. This is one of the most important steps because unless and until you can get data inside the notebook, you will not be able to work with the data. So this is getting the data in the notebook. ये steps सबको clear है? Yes, no?
Yes.
Right? Now, once you have the data is when we will start the analysis on the data. So the first function we have just written, all of us, is df.head. What does it do? It gives you a peek at the data set, which is, it will show you the first 5 rows of the data set that will help you understand what is the type of data, what is the larger data all about. So here I can see there is an ID column, name column, host ID, host name, neighborhood group, neighborhood, latitude, longitude, room type, price, minimum nights, number of reviews, last review, reviews per month, etc., etc. Right? In the df.head, the default number of rows it shows is 5. If you want, you can look at just 3 rows by changing the parameter here. You can look at 10 rows by changing the parameter here. By default, df.head shows 5 rows. Clear, everyone? Top 5 rows. Guys online, yes, no? Clear? Similarly, df.tail shows you by default the last 5 rows. It shows you by default the last 5 rows of your data. Okay. Everyone just execute df.head and df.tail and see if it is if you guys are getting the same value as me or not. Top 5 rows and bottom last 5 rows mil raha hai sabko? Yes. Now, what if I want to look at 100 rows? It does not give me the ability to look at 100 rows. You can see it showed me 5 rows here, then a lot of dot, 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 and then 5 rows here. So although it is showing me 100 rows, but I'm not really able to look at the entire 100 rows. Okay. This is because by default in Pandas, the limitation is 10. Okay. I mean, sometimes if you try 15, it will give you, if you try 20, it will give you, right? But there will always be a limitation. Let's say 50, right? So it's actually giving me 50 rows together. But if I try, let's say 75, then you will see that it did not show me all the rows, right? There is somewhere a restriction of the number of rows or the number of columns Pandas can display to me in the notebook. To change that, I have these 3 methods. Pandas set option, display maximum rows 200. Pandas set option, display maximum columns 500. Set option, display width 100. For example, here you can see a dot, 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 right? There is more text in this data, but you cannot see it. So when I do this and then I execute it, then you will see that now if I want df.tail 200, I will actually have all 200 rows displayed, no dot, dot, dot anywhere. Okay. I have expanded the capabilities of my notebook. Clear है सबको? All of you?
सर ये लास्ट वाला और एक बार बोलेंगे, ये जो एक्सपैंड करने का मतलब वो आप क्या किए?
So basically, by default, pandas will not show you more than 50 rows at the same time. If you want to look at more than 50 rows at the same time, you have to expand the capability of its display, which is what we are doing here. I am telling pandas that maximum rows display, जो originally 50 था या 60 था, उसको आप 200 कर दो. So what it will do is now it will show me 200 rows at the same time.
Okay.
ठीक है, I have expanded the maximum display size. Clear, everyone? Now what I want you guys to do is do some curious and intellectual thinking. Okay. We are going to look at the first method of the pandas library, which is df.info. Okay. I want all of you to run the df.info command. After that, run the df.describe command. Run these two methods in your notebook in two different cells, right? And write down all the observations. Write down below the cell all the observations that you are getting, all the information that you are getting from these two methods. Okay, everyone get started. I'll give you 4:48 or I'll give you 12 minutes to complete this. Okay, run df.info, run df.describe and write down all the analysis, all the important key points that you are able to get from these two methods. They are going to help you summarize the data better. Okay, is everyone done? Guys online? Yes, no? Is everyone done? df.info. Okay. So what information does df.info give us quickly? Guys, one by one, you can turn on your microphone and mention them and we can just quickly verify and validate. Yeah. What information does df.info give you?
Tells us about the data frame, the number of columns in it, the number of rows, the data types that each of them carry, whether they are null or not null, and the memory usage of it.
That is correct. Well summarized. So it gives you the number of rows, right? It gives you the number of columns. It gives you the name of all the columns, the data type of all the columns, as well as it gives you the number of nulls or non-nulls. I mean, when 7907 is non-null and total entry is 7907, that means this particular column has no missing value. But when I look at the name column, it has 7905 non-null. That means this particular column has 2 missing values. Is that clear, everyone? We also have the memory usage and the data types, frequency of each data type. Clear, guys? df.info, everyone? Coming to df.describe. What are your observations from df.describe? What does df.describe tell us?
It basically aggregates on all the numeric data types.
Okay. What data does it tell you? What does it tell you about all the numeric data types?
The count, the mean, minimum values, maximum values, standard deviation.
Okay. What are these?
Percentile.
Quartiles.
Yeah, quartiles or percentiles. Both correct. Okay. So the one very good observation that we made is that it only does it for numerical data types. Can anyone tell me why? Why only numerical data types? Why this bias?
Well, aggregations can be done only on numeric. We cannot do it on strings on text on integer. Sorry, text.
Okay. So the analysis or the descriptive statistics that we are doing is only coming for numerical because it is only possible for numerical numbers to have a mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, etc., etc. But there are some analysis that we can also do for categorical data. Okay, categorical data is basically string type data, right? For doing that, we need to do include is equal to all. That will give us a more complete analysis. But now some things have changed. What are the things that have changed and what has happened? Tell me, what are your observations now? Sorry, can you be a little louder? Someone was trying to speak to me.
Just string data didn't get calculated. That's why it is showing NaN.
No, NaN is because you do not have a calculation
Yes.
string, right? For example, there is no mean for the string column name. That I understand. But there are more things that have gotten added, right? What are those? What do they mean? For
Sir,
example, what is
Frequency
this?
got added.
Sorry, repeat that.
Frequency got added.
Frequency got added. Okay, anything else?
unique names. You are able to see unique names.
Top.
Yes. We see 3 new ideas or statistical keywords. Unique. What is unique?
No duplicates will be present.
No. number of unique strings or unique categories in that column. So out of 7905 actual names, 7457 are unique. So there are close to 450 names that are common. Okay. But if you see ID, right, you will have to find out if there are unique IDs or not. So the same person can be working with different IDs in different places, in different neighborhoods, right? For example, neighborhood groups, the number of values are 7907. What are the unique values? 5. So there are 5 unique neighborhood groups and 43 unique neighborhoods, right? Out of 7907 total number of people, there is 1833 unique people, unique host names, right? What is top? What do you think top means?
Most frequent and followed by the frequency of it.
Yes. So out of all the unique ones, which is the most high occurring one, the value, and how many times has it occurred? The frequency of the top most frequent value out of all the unique values. Clear, guys, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, any
Yes.
questions here? .info, .describe में कोई भी question है, this is the right time to ask. Okay. It gives us all of these details now. Coming to the df dot columns. The df dot columns is a method that tells us all the columns of the data frame. df dot columns. These are the columns of the data. First of all, let me quickly give you guys an understanding of the data frame. This listings.csv is basically a hotel listing, right? The ID is this. What is the name of the hotel? What is the ID of the host registered on the platform? What is the name of the host? Which neighborhood group and neighborhood does it belong to? What is the exact coordinate, latitude, longitude of this data set? What are the type of rooms? Private room. What is the price of the room? What is the minimum number of nights? So minimum nights is a parameter that is a little confusing for us because in India, it does not work that way. So, I mean, a lot of people actually, these are not exactly, all of them are not like the hotels. Some of them are also like B&Bs, bed and breakfast. So like a hostel. So you need to stay for at least 6 months, right? So the contract will be signed for 6 months. So like that minimum number of nights, there is 180, there is 90, there is 6. This one is like a week and this is a single day, right? You can see the prices are cheaper for higher minimum nights. Last review date, number of reviews it has, reviews per month, right? Calculated host listings count. So this particular host, how many other listings does he have? So is he a popular host, a one with a lot of listings, right? So they are more trustworthy. And availability, when are they available, right? Are they available 365? For example, in a very cold location, the hotels are closed half of the year, right? I mean, if you go to, let's say Leh Ladakh, right? So Leh Ladakh is not open throughout the year. Does that make sense? Guys, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is that is about the data. So df.columns gives us access to all the columns. Now, why is this df.columns very important? Because with this df.columns, I can actually apply a lot of string methods. Remember, we did string upper method. It will convert everything to uppercase. String lower method. It will convert everything to lower. Then string replace. It will replace, let's say, all the underscores with a hashtag. You can see all the underscores replaced with a hashtag. So whenever you want to do operations on all the columns, usually why we do this? We do this for standardizing the column names, right? Whenever we want to standardize the name of the columns and apply something for the entire set of columns, that is when we use the method df.columns. It is very useful in cases, suppose you've got column names which are not very correctly written. Okay, some manual data entry has happened. For example, state, country, population, right? Suppose columns are given like this. In that particular case, whenever you are trying to access the data or work with the data, you will not always remember that state may S is capital, country may C is capital, state may S is small, country may C is capital, and population is entirely in the capital case. You will not be able to remember that. So what do we do whenever this case occurs? We try to standardize all of them. So we will convert everything into lowercase, right? So that we do not have to have the headache of remembering the exact names. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Right? So that's what the column does. It also helps you filter the columns. For example, in this case, you will see df.columns.str contains neighborhood. This particular piece of code will give you true or false when it will compare each column with the condition contains neighborhood or not. So you will see there are two columns where it gives true. And then df.columns, square bracket, square bracket. What I am doing here is, understand this very carefully. I am passing a Boolean value, true, false, true, false, true, false, to the df.columns so that I only get values which are true and the remaining values are ignored. The false values, the indexes where it is false get ignored, which is why when I apply it like this, you can see only two neighborhood based columns. Okay, so the internal piece of code gives you the Boolean true and false, and the external code helps you access only the values which are true. Is that clear, everyone?
So the internal method is clear. Can you explain the outer one again? Why does it only give?
Suppose you have this data frame. Okay. In this data frame, I will just create a df.head 5. Suppose this is my temp. Okay, it only has 5 rows because I have used df.head and then I have put it inside a new variable. Okay, I mean, it is just like L1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I accessed L1 2 to 4, which is this, and put it inside a new list L2. So my L2 is now a separate list and my original L1 is separate. So df is separate. Temp is a new data frame that I have created. Okay. Now in temp, if this dot log, we will cover it today in some time. This dot log helps you access rows. If I pass like true, true, false, 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 this works. Can you see the true values? The index 0 and 1 got accessed. All the remaining ones were not accessed, the false ones. Are you able to understand this? Yes or no?
Okay, yeah.
The temp had 5 rows. The same length of true, false, Boolean values I passed. Only the true values were accessed. The false values were ignored. That's exactly what is happening with our df.columns here. Okay. This particular inner value is giving us Boolean true, false. df.columns is helping us filter out the true from the false.
Yeah, thank you.
Clear? Any other questions, guys, so far? Anyone? Any other questions? I'll look at the chat quickly. Okay. Guys, if there are any questions, let me know. Okay, this is the tricky part. Do not hesitate to ask any kind of questions because this is where you will really be working with this day in, day out as a data analyst, data scientist, machine learning, any kind of role that you get, right? Even in internships, full-time roles, 3 years experience, 5 years experience, you'll still have to use pandas to do all forms of data analysis in your notebook. Okay, so do not hesitate to ask any questions. Now, just like we learned with the list and string, whenever we were learning about any data type, we had to understand how do we access data inside that data type, right? So in a data frame, we need to learn how to access a single column, how to access multiple columns, how to access a single row, how to access multiple rows, and finally, how to access a single cell value. Once we learn all 5 of these, we'll be completely capable of accessing any value in the data frame. Clear? Guys online, everyone, quick yes and no on the chat. Everyone absolutely clear? Yeah. So how do I access a single column? Just like treat the data frame as a dictionary. Treat this data frame as a dictionary. What are the keys? ID, name, host ID, host name, neighborhood group, etc. So the column names act as the keys of the data frame in the dictionary sense. And that is how you can access a single column. In square brackets, write the name of the column, and that name of the column will be recognized as the column name, as the key, and then you will be able to access the single column. So I can access my DF name column like this. Can you see, everyone? Single column. Clear hai sabko? For multiple columns, instead of passing a single string, you have to pass a list of the column names. Can you guys see clearly? I have passed a list of column names instead of a single column name. And that will give me access to multiple columns. Clear, everyone? Single column, multiple column.
So sir, if I want only 10 names, first 10, so again I have to do dot head.
What do you mean by first 10? Yeah, I mean, you want to look at the first 10 rows, right? Only.
Yeah, just access it.
In this particular case, dot head does not work. Why? Because dot head is a method of the pandas data frame. Can you see the difference? This is a data frame. This is not a data frame. This is called a pandas series. Okay. So always understand this. There are 2 data types. We will mostly be working with data type number 1, which is data frame. Okay. The other data type is called a pandas series. It is also useful, but basically combination of series is equal to data frame. What does that mean? Data frame has the dimension m comma n, m number of rows, n number of columns, where m and n are both greater than 1. I mean, you have to have more than 1 rows, more than 1 columns to justify a data frame. A pandas series has the dimension either m comma 1 or 1 comma n. So it is either a single row or a single column. Okay. So if you want to use dot head here, it is working with the pandas series also. But in the previous versions of pandas, it was not working. Now it has started to work. Another way could be directly accessing top 10 like this, just like we do indexing, right? You can use that also. Clear? Hai? You can use this.
Sir, when we calling a single column, why are we retrieving this ID column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4?
So this ID column is very important because it acts as a recognizer or a unique primary key for this row.
Okay.
Right now, we don't know if the ID column is a primary key column or not. So this index was not actually in the data. Pandas has actually created artificially this entire index so that each row is accessible by its index number.
Okay. Like a serial number.
Yes, it has artificially given a serial number. And it is a sequence, just like वो list के अंदर automatically एक index था, उस तरीके से pandas data frame में automatically एक index है. Everyone clear?
सर आपने अभी नेबरहुड ग्रुप और नेबरहुड कॉलम्स को जो रिट्रीव किया है उसमें शुरू की 4 और लास्ट की 4 शो कर रहा है, सारी नहीं कर रहा है। सबके लिए
मतलब
जैसे ये टोटल डेटा नहीं आया ना
नहीं
आपने।
आया, यहाँ डॉट 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 दिख रहा है, राइट?
हाँ हाँ राइट,
That says that there is something in between which we are not showing.
उसको रिट्रीव करने के लिए टोटल कॉलम।
रिट्रीव करने के लिए तो नहीं होता है। I mean, आपको जितना बड़ा साइज देखना है आप उतना डाल
अच्छा,
दीजिए।
अच्छा।
मैक्सिमम लिमिटेशन हमारी 203, राइट? इफ यू रिमेम्बर हमने 200 डाला था। अगर मैं 200 के ऊपर जाता हूँ तो वही सेम आएगा।
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है।
ठीक है?
डॉट हेड यूज करना पड़ेगा।
डॉट हेड नहीं, आई मीन यहाँ पे जब आपको लग रहा है, राइट, तो आप एक्चुअल में 200 रोज एक्सेस कर सकते हो ऐसे भी।
ठीक है, स्लाइसिंग।
बाय डिफॉल्ट इट जस्ट शोज यू स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा, क्योंकि हर समय तो आपके लिए इतना ज्यादा रोज देख के कोई लॉजिक नहीं बनेगा, राइट? तो आई मीन दिस जस्ट अ डिस्प्ले पैरामीटर। ओके, सिंगल रो एक्सेस करने के लिए वी हैव द डॉट LOC विच इज शॉर्ट फॉर लोकेट। सो df dot lock and inside square bracket you pass the index. So this will give you the first row. If you guys remember, let me show you quickly. df dot head, अगर हम देखते हैं, I'll just put 1. So we see the first row. Here you can see this is the first row that you are seeing. ID 49091, Cozy Comfort Long Term Stay Room 2, right? Host ID, host name Francisca, neighborhood group, neighborhood, etc. etc. So to access a single row, you will pass the index of the row using the dot lock. Clear है सबको?
Yes sir.
Guys online, any questions? Question, confusion, logical understanding?
सर ये जो विजुअलाइजेशन है ये वर्टिकल टाइप है, अगर मुझे हॉरिजॉन्टल ही देखना है तो एक रो।
वो तो ये रहा ना, हॉरिजॉन्टल तो ऑलरेडी है।
सर लॉग 0 में ये चाहिए व्यू आता है।
आई थिंक आप डबल स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट डालेंगे ना तो ये ऐसा आ जाएगा।
हाँ
ठीक है, इफ यू वांट, आई मीन देखो, डबल स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट एक्चुअली इंडिकेट्स दैट यू हैव मोर देन वन लाइक रिक्वायरमेंट, समथिंग लाइक दिस। ओके, तो इसीलिए वो डबल स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट का जरूरत है। तो इट कैन शो यू लाइक दिस। यू कैन एक्चुअली डू डॉट ट्रांसपोज ऑल्सो, तो ये आपको ऐसे भी दिख जाएगा। बाद में आते हैं।
ट्रांसपोज में दिख रहा।
क्लियर है? ओके, मल्टीपल रोज, if the multiple rows are continuous, you can use the index slicing that we had discussed earlier using the colon, starting point and ending point. Here the difference is the ending point is also inclusive. So when I put 0 to 3, it's not that 3 was exclusive, 3 was also inclusive. Okay, and I have tried to find a reason why they would have the indexing excluded in one Python and included in pandas. Nobody has a reason. This is just how they've done it. Okay, तो इसका कोई logic नहीं है. And if you want to access non-continuous numbers, then in a list you will have to pass the index numbers, and you will be able to access multiple rows using their index number. Clear, everyone? कोई confusion? Any questions? Single column, multiple columns, single row, multiple rows. Finally, how do you access a cell? So we are just going to take our dot lock one step further. Remember, df dot log 0 was giving us this entire thing. Consider this to be a dictionary where this is the key and this is the value. So if you want to access a particular key of the 0th index, you can give the key name and you will be able to access a single cell, right? To access a single cell, obviously I need two parameters. To access a single cell, I need two parameters. What are the two parameters? Row number and column name, right? And that is what I have provided. df.log 0 is row number and the next one is column name, okay, which you can see here. Clear है सबको? Yes or no?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, but if I'm asked to access the host name of ID number so and so, then how do I do it?
ID number so and so का host ID.
मतलब हाँ.
Suppose तो देखो आपको first find out करना पड़ेगा ना ये ID.
हाँ, तो मतलब I have to anyway go
आप
with the
बात कर रहे हो
index number.
फिल्टरिंग का। देखो ये
अच्छा
वाला केस अलग है, आपको ये रो का एक्सेस रो नंबर जानना पड़ेगा ना। सपोज आपका आईडी कौन सा है, सपोज आपका आईडी में मानता हूँ 71609, ठीक है, तो इससे मेरे को मिला 71609, यू आर एक्चुअली फिल्टरिंग फॉर दैट आईडी, एंड देन अगर आप यहाँ पे देखते हो, इसका फिल्टर लगाने के बाद यहाँ पे आप डॉट लॉक कर दो और यहाँ पे आप होस्ट नेम डाल दो एंड यू गेट बेलिंडा। तो देखो इंस्टेड ऑफ रो नंबर यू कैन एक्चुअली पास अ ट्रू फॉल्स ऑल्सो ना। ये क्या देगा आप देखो, ये दिस विल गिव अस अ बुलियन ट्रू फॉल्स, जिसमें सिर्फ एक ही ट्रू है,
yes.
राइट। तो वो ट्रू फॉल्स जब आएगा ना यहाँ पे, सपोज अगर आप ऐसा करते हो, होस्ट नेम नहीं डालते, सिर्फ यही डालते, इट्स जस्ट शोइंग मी दैट वन, बिकॉज दिस विल गिव मी ट्रू फॉल्स ट्रू फॉल्स ट्रू फॉल्स इन रिटर्न। wherever it is true it will show me. Once it shows me this row, I can access the column name using the column name. Clear है?
Yes.
मतलब सर ये है कि हम बहुत मतलब वी हैव मल्टीपल वेज टू एक्सेस एनीथिंग।
Yes.
कोई भी चूज कर लो आप।
इन अ वे आपको इंडेक्स पास करना है। अब वो इंडेक्स आप बुलियन इंडेक्स पास करते हो, नंबर पास करते हो, कंडीशन पास करते हो, दैट्स ऑल हैंडल्ड बाय पाइथन, आई मीन pandas internally. We don't have to worry about that. Is why देखो multiple why is it given such that multiple things can be used together, because the developers understand that multiple people might have multiple directions of thinking and approaching the problem. Okay guys, clear है सबको? Yes, no?
Yes,
Guys
sir.
online, all ways of accessing. Now we also said that we can have multiple arithmetic operations that we can perform on the columns. So अगर आप जैसे देखिएगा df price column, this is my df price column. मान लेते हैं मेरे को एक डिस्काउंट देना है 20% का, तो फाइनल प्राइस क्या होगा, टाइम 0.8, 20% का डिस्काउंट मतलब 80% पे करना है, दिस इज द 80%। आप देखोगे df dot price was a lot of values, it was a 7907 rows थे, एंड यहां पे मैंने सिंगल वैल्यू मल्टीप्लाई की। सो इंटरनली pandas as well as, again let me remind you, numpy has helped you convert this 0.8 single value, and it has broadcasted that 0.8 into the number of times there were rows and multiplied each value with 0.8. अगर आप देखोगे ना ऐसे, अगर आप df.price.values करोगे ना, you can see this is a numpy array, and when you multiply a numpy array with 0.8 you will see that it converts all of them like this. Clear है? तो internally array use हो रहा है यहाँ पे भी। Guys, everyone clear?
Yes sir. सर
Yes.
अगर मुझे दोनों बताना है, प्राइस और डिस्काउंटेड प्राइस अलग अलग कॉलम में,
तो मैं इसीलिए एक नया कॉलम क्रिएट करूंगा which will be df discounted price equals to, यहां मैं क्या कर रहा हूं, एक existing column, have you picked up an existing column, multiplied that with a number, this gives me a new complete new pandas series, this gives me a completely new pandas series. I am
Okay.
allocating that pandas series to a new column whose name is discounted price, like this. When I do this, now my df has the original price column, as well as if I scroll right, it has the discounted price column also.
yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
Everyone?
But if I only do that df, तो वो ओरिजिनल प्राइस कॉलम में ही एप्लीकेबल होगा।
Sorry, repeat that.
The earlier action that you did, right, like only df का price star 0.8,
हाँ,
yeah, only this one, so this will apply on the original price column.
this is Panda showing you what your data would look like if you did this mathematical operation. This is not going to change anything permanently. It is happening. This is a temporary view
Oh, okay.
of the mathematical output of your operation. This will not change anything. Once
Okay.
I assign it to my data frame discounted price, then it changes anything. Okay.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Guys, everyone clear? It's like DAX in Power BI. I don't know Power BI, Riddhi, to be honest. Sorry. Okay, guys. Any questions? Abhi tak bataiye. Anyone? Any questions? कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो बताइए. Yes, Indrani, it's a calculated column. Derived, calculated, operated, etc. etc. Everything clear till now? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have the ability to update, modify, or edit my data frame. So I have the ability to drop columns and rows. If I want to drop a row, I can directly pass the index of the row and pandas will drop that particular index. If I want to drop a column, I will have to specify columns is equal to, and inside a list, pass the name of the column that I want to drop. Okay. So let's quickly check that out. I'm going to comment the first line out. Okay, suppose df.head. Okay. In the df.head, right now I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I do df.drop 2, it is going to give me the data frame in return. Again, this is a temporary view, guys. Remember very carefully. I have not permanently dropped it. I have just asked pandas to drop the second row and show me what it looks like. So df.drop true में आप देखोगे ये second index is no longer there. But if I again look at df, the second index is there. So if I want to permanently delete the second index, there are two ways I can do it. The first is I can reassign the edited or manipulated data frame to my original df variable. This is one way of doing it. The second is df.drop 2, comma, in place is equal to true. What this in place is equal to true does is it makes the change that you have done here permanent. Clear hai? Guys online? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? df.drop, pass the index number. First, Python will show you how it looks like. If you want to make the change permanent, either you can reassign the df variable like this, or you can use the parameter in place is equal to true. That makes the change permanent. Clear, guys online?
Any like preference which is more preferable in either of these methods?
So in place is equal to true and df is equal to does two things. Let me show you. Suppose df. What is the ID of df? 951008. Okay. df.drop 2, df is equal to, what is the ID of df? This. So the ID changed. Okay. df.drop 3, again, I mean, let's say this is my current ID of df. Okay, ID of df. This is my new current ID of df. I do df.drop 4, comma, in place is equal to true. And my ID of df, if I check, you will see that the ID remains the same. So in using this, the problem is that a lot of memory is wasted because the data frame originally was having that memory somewhere, right? Now suddenly you have created a brand new memory where you have stored the manipulated data. So the older version of data frame is also there. the new data frame is also there. But with in place is equal to true, you are not creating more spaces. You are making the changes in the same place in the same memory address. So it's always better memory efficiency wise to use in place is equal to true. Clear? Eh?
Yeah, got it. Thank you, sir.
If you want to drop columns, a particular column, then df dot drop columns is equal to, let's say I pick a particular column, reviews per month. Inside a list, I will have to pass reviews per month. This is the temporary view. If I want to make it permanent, I can write in place is equal to true. And now my change has been made permanent. Is that clear, everyone? No more reviews per month in my data frame. Clear hai sabko? Guys online? Any questions? It's very important, guys. If you have questions, ask them right away. Okay, because एक बार आप confused हो जाएंगे तो it will be very difficult for you later. Okay, anything that you do not understand, anything that does not come naturally after learning all the basic Python, let me know. Okay. Coming to renaming columns. Okay, just like you can remove columns, you can also rename columns as well as you can rename indexes. Okay, suppose this is your df.head. I want to change the ID column. Okay, I want to change the ID column to listing ID. Okay, how do I do that? df.rename columns is equal to, this time I pass a dictionary. Why? Because the key will be the current column name and the value will be the new column name. And if I do that, now you can see my column has been renamed. Okay, permanently rename karna hai. In place is equal to true. Clear hai, guys? Permanent renaming of the data frames column name ID. How to filter the null value? Asim will come to that. We'll come to that. We have that separately. Right now we are like working with the entire data frame. When we go to specific analysis like outlier, null values, we'll come to that. If you want a quick one, you can do df.isNull. Okay, and that will help you filter out the null value. Okay, or you can also try df.drop_na. That will actually drop all the rows that have any kind of null values in them. Okay, so you can see from 7907 you have only 5146. Okay, we'll come to that when we come to that. Guys, df.rename columns clear? And df.index, if you want to change, let's say from 0, I want to give it a different name. Suppose I want to give 0. Let's try this. I think I'll have to provide access is equal to 0. Index equals to something I am doing wrong. Yeah, is that clear, everyone? If you want to rename an index, you use index is equal to. If you want to rename a column, you do columns is equal to. Guys, any questions? Everyone? Indrani, Pranavi, Abhishek, Asim, all of you. Akansha, Amber, Anindita, Antara.
नहीं सर,
Bhavna, Parhana, Garima, all of you. Sabko clear hai, guys. I mean, when you don't ask questions, I feel like it clear nahi hai. So, I mean, and when you guys are quiet, I don't really know because matlab sabka video on nahi hai, otherwise chehre se pata chal jata hai. But I hope things are clear till now. You are getting a logical understanding of how things are working. And आप देखो यहाँ पे dictionary का कितना importance है. Remember when we were working with data types, you were asking me, Pranjal, what is the advantage of dictionary over a list, right? So in this particular case, a dictionary is very useful because आपको कौन सा column का renaming करना है, that is provided by the key and that is mapped to the new name of that column.
Yes sir, वही मैं सोच रहा था.
Okay, great. So renaming and dropping clear हो गया है, right? We have already done the lock. Now, what if you want to add rows to your data frame? Okay, what if you want to add rows to your data frame? So df.append, suppose आपके पास ये data frame है, इसका 0th row लेते हैं. I want to append this. How to add data the data frame? Asim, I did not understand your question. Can you repeat that? I mean, elaborate on that question. How to add data in the data frame? Yes, so I mean, we are doing that. Okay. Suppose this is a single row. Okay. You can actually add this row to your data frame. Suppose आपको एक row create करना है, right? Let's say आपने एक row create किया, 0 करते हैं, right? Dot values. Suppose this is one value. आपके पास ये value आया, new underscore row. Okay, these are the values of your new row. These are the input from your server, system, customer, client, whatever. The first thing you will do is you will have to convert this into a pandas series. This new row has to be converted into a pandas series. Okay, when you convert this into a pandas series, then you can append it to your data frame. df.append like this. But there is a problem. You can only append if ignore index is equal to true. So if you do this, you can just copy this directly. And now you will see in the end. Okay, wait, something happened. Yeah. अब देखिए problem क्या हुआ? Can you guys see? A completely new columns got created. For all the currently existing data, you got nan. For the new one, the values are stored like this. तो क्या हुआ? We cannot directly pass a list like this. Passing a list is a problem. But if I do df.log0, इसका एक method होता है .toDict. This is a dictionary. Okay. And if I have created my new row as a dictionary where I know listing ID ये है, name ये है, host ID ये है. If I have all of this, and then I do df.append new underscore row, right? And obviously I will have to do ignore index is equal to true. Then you can see that a new column has gotten, a new row has gotten added, which is added perfectly. This is my first row, जिससे मैंने data create किया था. First row, same one, and it has gotten added. So whenever you want to add a row to your data frame, add data to your data frame, you have to pass a dictionary where the keys are your column names and the values are the new values that you want to add. The advantage of this is that you can actually have completely messed up sequence. If your sequence is also changed, even then it will not screw up the values. You see, देखिए values change नहीं हुआ. My original sequence was changed, but the values are still attached to the right columns because I have given the name of the columns with which the new values have to be added. Clear है सबको? Yes or no? How to add new data? Add as a dictionary.
Sir, ये तो आपने only one row की बात हो गई.
हाँ.
If there are n number of columns and many more data, so I have to make so many keys, right?
No,
Key
no,
and value pair.
आप क्या बोल रहे हो? आप बोल रहे हो कि आपको एक डेटा फ्रेम में दूसरा डेटा फ्रेम डालना है, ऐड करना है. That is concatenation. वो है. So pd.concat, इस पे हम लोग आने वाले हैं. That's in the next notebook, but I'll still show you. pd.concat df, मैं अभी df को df से ही concat कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, मतलब ये this will ideally be another data frame. तो आप यहाँ देख पा रहे हो 15,810 rows हो गए.
Yes.
Right. So you can concatenate a data frame with another data frame. अगर आपके पास मल्टीपल रोज है तो इट्स नो लॉन्गर अ सीरीज, इट्स नो लॉन्गर अ डिक्शनरी, इट इज अनदर डेटा फ्रेम, है ना?
Yes, yes.
तो दैट यू कैन डायरेक्टली डू.
And sir, once we have brought in the data frame into my notebook, and if in the original file, if there are some changes, will that changes reflect in my notebook?
No,
No?
you'll have to run from the beginning. You will have to again run this file, this this data, I mean this cell, and again run everything that you have executed from the start to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because once the data has been imported from the notebook,
Mm-hmm.
from the hard drive to your notebook, that link is broken. वो import अब नहीं हो रहा है. अगर वो एक एक्टिव लिंक रहेगा तो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. आप समझ रहे हो? वो डेटा चेंज होता रहेगा, ये नोटबुक हमेशा ऑन रहेगी, राइट? इट विल कॉन्स्टेंटली हैव टू कीप चेंजिंग.
सर अभी
लॉजिक कैसे डिफाइन करोगे? आई मीन अभी मैं आपको क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि जहां पे आपने फाइल इंपोर्ट किया है वहां से लेके अभी तक का सारा सेल चला दो. लेट्स से आपको वैसा नहीं करना है, तो हाउ डू विल दैट लॉजिक बी डिफाइंड? So once the data is imported from the hard drive to the notebook, that link no longer exists. Okay.
सर अभी जैसे आपने एक डेटा सेट को डिक्शनरी में कन्वर्ट किया, और जैसे अगर मान लो कि मेरे पास 2-3 कस्टमर्स का डेटा आ रहा है, इससे मुझे 2-3 रोज ही ऐड करनी है, तो इसी डिक्शनरी के अंदर भी एक डिक्शनरी ऐड कर दूंगा मैं?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, देखो अगर आपके पास मान लो 3-4 रो आ जाते हैं, दैट्स बेसिकली लाइक df.lock 05420 समथिंग लाइक दिस. क्या हो गया कि अच्छा मैंने 0.5 ये वाला है ना आपके पास, ऐसा डेटा है, तो दिस इज अ डेटा फ्रेम. तो आप क्या करोगे? आप pd.concat करोगे. यू विल नॉट डू अपेंड, क्योंकि आप अपेंड सिर्फ सिंगल चीज एक बार में करते हो.
ठीक है.
हम लोग जब pd.concat सीखेंगे तो वी विल नो कि नाउ अब देखो यहाँ पे 0, 54 और 20 आ गया लास्ट में. ठीक है, तो कॉन्कैटिनेशन इज सेपरेट, अपेंडिंग इज सेपरेट. ओके okay guys, so class, this is your take home assignment for today. Write the code using your df to access the 14th column, access the 12th and the 15th column, access the 999th row, access the rows from 320 to 420, access the data in the 5th column, second row. Okay, I will share this notebook with you, so you will have your take home task. तो कल क्लास शुरू होने के पहले we'll discuss the solutions for these. Okay, everyone, you guys still have the energy for one more method? Okay, the next method is one of the most important methods for any analysis you want to do on categorical data. जितने भी string वाले data होते हैं ना, उनमें ये dot value counts has a lot of importance. What is it? It gives you the frequency distribution of the categories in the data. Suppose हमारा neighborhood group क्या था? This was my neighborhood group. Now I want to know कितने unique neighborhood groups है and उनकी individual frequencies क्या है? What is the distribution of neighborhood groups in my data frame? I will use dot value underscore counts, and that will tell me that there are 5 unique neighborhood groups. Amongst that, central region is the highest frequency, 6309, 540, 507, 346, 203. So in descending order, it will tell me the frequency of the different neighborhood groups in my data. Clear? If you ever want to show a frequency distribution of the categorical data, you are going to use value underscore counts. Okay. There are special arguments. Suppose normalize is equal to true आप लिखते हो, then it converts it into percentage. So central region का जो frequency है, which we saw 6309, is 79.81% of the entire data size. If I multiply it by 100, so I will see 79.81%. Okay, clear everyone? These two examples are mentioned here. The code जिसके हमने बात की. Room type, which is another categorical column, you can see that entire home/apartment was 4132 listings. Private room had 3379 listings. Shared room has 394 listings. Okay. With the value counts, you can also get the unique values using the dot index. एक बार आपको value counts मिल गया, तो value counts में अगर आप notice करोगे, there are two things. What is the first thing that you see? The first thing that you see is the unique values. Second thing you see is the frequency. So ये जो unique values है, ये आता है with dot index. ये वाला जो value है, that comes with dot index. Entire home / apartment, private room, shared room. And वो जो frequencies थी, corresponding frequency, that comes with dot values. So if you do dot values, you will get 4132, 3379, 394. Clear है ये? Guys online, value counts का dot index, value counts का dot values. Any questions?
Sir, data type में int 64 और float 64 क्यों आ रहा है? It came earlier also. I forgot to ask.
हाँ, तो ये जो pandas ने create किया है, right? ये integer data है ना? 4132,
integer.
394. तो वो integer दिखा है. That's it.
64 का significance?
64 is your bit size. आपका 32-bit computer है, 64-bit computer है. It depends on how your computer stores memory. Okay.
Okay, got it.
ठीक है. Finally, दो और methods है. For any categorical data, if you want to know the number of unique categories, you can use .nunique. And if you want to know the values of the unique categories, .unique. So .unique gives you the name of the unique values. .nunique gives you the number of unique values. ठीक है. I think we discussed a lot today. We'll start here tomorrow. ठीक है. तो .nunique और .unique हमने discuss किया. Any questions, guys? I am uploading the notebook.
Sir, if you could refer any good books, ebooks for Python.
I think आप कोई भी ना ओरिली का बुक ले लीजिए. डेटा साइंस पांडास ऑनलाइन मिल जाएगा आपको फ्री में, मतलब PDF. But I think this one you can use. Python data science handbook for, pandas. Right? You will get a lot of books. O'Reilly का books बहुत अच्छा है because the writers are, a lot of the contributors to pandas are the ones who have written the books. So O'Reilly is a great place and उसका PDFs आपको online मिल जाएगा. ओके. आप सर्च कर लीजिए, बट ओरिली में जहां पे भी आपको पांडास और डेटा साइंस का कॉम्बिनेशन मिलता है, कोई भी बुक ले लीजिए. बुक में कंटेंट बहुत हद तक सेम ही रहता है बिकॉज ऑलमोस्ट सेम लोगों ने ही लिखा है. तो अंदर अनलेस एंड अंटिल देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक यूज केस, यू कैन डेफिनेटली गो अहेड. मैं फ्लिपकार्ट पे दिखा देता हूँ अ फ्यू बुक्स दैट आई वाज ओरिजिनली रीडिंग.
So if you have, can you upload it?
And I don't have e-PDF. I actually don't like reading. On my table, you will anytime like have these books. I like hard copies. I don't like e-books.
Right.
I'm sorry for that. क्योंकि यार वो book का जो एक feel होता है ना.
Yeah, that's true. I understand.
बहुत difference है. हाँ, तो O'Reilly definitely Python data science handbook, इसमें आपको pandas भी मिलेगा. एक पर्टिकुलरली पांडास का बुक भी था, लाइक इफ यू सर्च फॉर पांडास स्पेसिफिकली. ओरिली का एक पांडा, अरे वैसा पांडास नहीं.
ये शॉप से जाके भी देख सकते हैं सर?
नहीं, ये सब शॉप में नहीं मिलेगा आपको. ये बहुत स्पेसिफिक है. इंडिया के शॉप्स में जनरली ये सब बुक बहुत कम मिलती है. अनटिल आप कोई पर्टिकुलर वैसी जगह पे ही जा रहे हो जहाँ कोडिंग की बुक्स मिलती है. बिकॉज जो लोग कोड कर रहे हैं वो लोग बुक डाउनलोड ही कर लेते हैं जनरली, या फिर ऑनलाइन कोर्स के हिसाब से. दे डोंट यूजुअली रीड बुक्स. आई हैव रेड बुक्स ओरिजिनली. ठीक है. तो आई थिंक आप ओरिली का वो बुक ट्राई कर लो, डेटा साइंस हैंड्स ऑन. एंड पैकेट का ये वाला बुक भी ट्राई कर सकते हो, डेटा एनालिसिस विद पांडास. ठीक है. बट क्या होगा ना कि अगर आप कोई बुक फॉलो करोगे ना, वो हर एक चीज के इतने डिटेल में चले जाएंगे कि लास्ट में आप बोर हो जाओगे और आप वो बुक पढ़ोगे नहीं. तो जब तक आपको वो अप्लाई करने में मजा नहीं आएगा ना, तब तक आपको बुक मतलब बहुत कम दिन ही मतलब मजा आएगा, वरना मतलब यू विल नॉट फाइंड इट इंटरेस्टिंग, बिकॉज अभी ना वो वैल्यू काउंट्स के भी हर एक छोटे से छोटे डिटेल में जाएंगे, हर एक पैरामीटर के बारे में बताएंगे। तो जब तक आप वो पढ़ोगे, इफ यू वांट टू गो इन दैट मच डेप्थ, डेफिनेटली। अदरवाइज अगर आप 4-5 प्रोजेक्ट्स कर लोगे ना, इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स, तो यू विल बी गुड टू गो, यू विल नॉट हैव टू वरी अबाउट इट।
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys. So the notebook is uploaded. I'll see you all tomorrow. Please share your feedback once the feedback form is shared by the IB team. And have a good day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye, Pranjal.